Have you ever wondered why some people seem to stay energetic, mentally sharp, and healthy well into their 70s and 80s, while others begin to struggle with chronic illness much earlier? Many people assume the answer lies in genetics. Others believe it's simply a matter of luck. But over the past 2 decades, scientists have uncovered something remarkable. Hidden deep inside your digestive system is an invisible ecosystem that may influence how quickly your body ages. We're talking about your gut microbiome. Inside your intestines live trillions of microorganisms. We'll explore what modern science is teaching us about one of the most fascinating discoveries in healthy aging, how your gut influences your brain, your immune system, your metabolism, and ultimately, how well you age. Because sometimes, the most important organ for a longer, healthier life is the one most people rarely think about. What is the gut microbiome? If you've never heard the term gut microbiome before, you're not alone. Until relatively recently, even many scientists underestimated its importance. Today, it's considered one of the most active areas of medical research. So, what exactly is the gut microbiome? Simply put, it's the vast community of microorganisms living inside your digestive tract. These organisms include bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microscopic life forms. That might sound alarming. After all, we're often taught that germs are something to avoid. But the truth is much more interesting. Only a small percentage of microorganisms are harmful. Many are completely harmless, and countless others are essential for good health. Think of your gut as a thriving rainforest. A healthy rainforest isn't made up of just one type of tree. It's filled with incredible diversity, thousands of different species living together, supporting one another, creating balance. Your gut works in much the same way. A healthy microbiome isn't about having one super bacteria. It's about maintaining a rich and diverse community of microorganisms. Each species performs different jobs. Some help break down dietary fiber that your own body cannot digest. Others produce vitamins, including certain B vitamins and vitamin K. Some create short-chain fatty acids. These compounds provide energy for the cells lining your colon. They also help strengthen the intestinal barrier and support healthy immune function. Perhaps even more remarkable, these microorganisms don't simply live inside you. They constantly communicate with your body. They send chemical signals to your immune system. They influence hormones involved in appetite and blood sugar regulation. They interact with the nervous system through what scientists call the gut-brain axis. Scientists have identified thousands of different bacterial species in the human gut. But no two microbiomes are exactly alike. Your microbiome is as unique as your fingerprint. It begins developing at birth, and throughout life, it's shaped by countless factors. The foods you eat, your environment, sleep, exercise, and especially, antibiotics. Some of these influences are beyond our control. That's one reason researchers are so excited about the microbiome. Unlike your genes, your gut ecosystem can adapt. It responds to your daily habits, sometimes surprisingly quickly. Research has shown that meaningful changes in the microbiome can begin within days of changing dietary patterns. But building a healthier microbiome isn't about following a restrictive diet for a week. It's about consistently creating an environment where beneficial microorganisms can thrive. And that becomes increasingly important as we grow older. Because while your microbiome has an incredible ability to adapt, it also changes naturally with age, and those age-related changes may influence far more than digestion alone. So, what actually happens inside the gut as we get older? And why do scientists believe these changes could affect the aging process itself? How aging changes your gut? Aging affects every organ in the body. Your muscles gradually lose strength. Your bones become less dense. Your skin becomes thinner. But there's another part of your body that changes quietly, often without you ever noticing. Your gut. The microbiome you have at 20 is not the same microbiome you'll have at 70. Over time, the balance of microorganisms begins to shift. Scientists have found that many older adults tend to have fewer different species of beneficial bacteria. This loss of diversity is one of the most consistent findings in microbiome research. Why does diversity matter? Imagine a city where every essential job is performed by only a handful of people. If some of them disappear, the entire system becomes less resilient. The same is true inside your gut. Different bacteria perform different tasks. Some specialize in breaking down fiber, others produce compounds that nourish the cells lining your intestines. Some help regulate inflammation, others interact with your immune system. The more diverse the community, the better it can adapt to challenges. As diversity decreases, that resilience may begin to fade, but aging itself isn't the only reason this happens. Lifestyle also plays a major role. Many people become less physically active as they grow older. Their diets often become less varied. Some eat fewer fruits and vegetables. Medications become more common. Repeated courses of antibiotics may reduce helpful bacteria, along with harmful ones. Chronic illnesses can also influence the microbiome. In other words, many of the factors that accompany aging may gradually reshape the gut ecosystem. One consequence researchers are studying is something called inflammaging, inflammation, and aging. Unlike the intense inflammation that occurs when you cut your finger or catch the flu, inflammaging refers to a low-grade, persistent level of inflammation that can develop over many years. You usually can't feel it. There may be no pain, no obvious symptoms, yet this chronic inflammatory state has been linked to many age-related diseases, including cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and cognitive decline. Scientists believe the gut may play an important role in this process. One reason involves the intestinal barrier. Your intestines are lined with a thin but highly sophisticated barrier. It allows nutrients from food to pass into your bloodstream, while helping keep harmful bacteria and unwanted substances where they belong, inside the gut. A healthy microbiome helps support this barrier. Certain beneficial bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids, especially butyrate. These compounds help nourish the cells of the intestinal lining and support its normal function. When microbial diversity declines, the production of these helpful compounds may also decrease. Researchers are investigating whether this could contribute to changes in the barrier over time. It's important to be careful here. You may have heard dramatic claims online about a condition called leaky gut. Some sources suggest it's responsible for nearly every chronic illness. The science is far more nuanced. Researchers do recognize that changes in intestinal barrier function can occur in certain medical conditions, but many popular claims go well beyond what current evidence supports. Healthy aging isn't about fearing your gut. It's about understanding how it works and supporting it with habits that encourage long-term resilience. Fortunately, the microbiome is not simply a passive victim of aging. Even later in life, it can respond to positive changes. Studies have shown that diet, regular physical activity, and other healthy lifestyle habits can influence the composition of the gut microbiome. Getting older doesn't mean your biology stops adapting. In many ways, your body continues listening to the choices you make every day, and perhaps nowhere is that more apparent than inside your gut. But the story doesn't end with digestion or inflammation. One of the most surprising discoveries in modern science is that your gut may also influence something far away from your intestines: your brain. The gut-brain connection. When most people think about the brain, they picture billions of neurons inside the skull. Rarely do they think about the intestines. Yet these two organs are in constant communication. Scientists call this relationship the gut-brain axis. It's not a single pathway. It's an entire communication network. One of the most important connections is the vagus nerve. Think of it as a two-way communication highway. It carries information between your brain and many internal organs, including your digestive tract. But nerves aren't the only way these organs communicate. Your gut microbiome also produces hundreds of chemical compounds. Some help regulate immune activity, others influence metabolism, and some may affect how the brain functions. One example often surprises people: serotonin. It's commonly known as the feel-good chemical. While serotonin itself cannot simply travel from the gut into the brain to change your mood, about 90% of the body's serotonin is produced in the digestive system. There, it plays important roles in digestion and communication between the gut and the nervous system. The relationship between serotonin, the microbiome, and the brain is far more complex than many headlines suggest. Scientists are still working to understand exactly how these systems influence one another. But one thing has become increasingly clear: the gut and the brain are deeply connected. Researchers have also discovered that certain gut bacteria produce compounds known as short-chain fatty acids. These molecules don't just support the intestinal lining, they may also influence immune cells, inflammation, and signals that can indirectly affect the brain. This has led scientists to ask an important question: could changes in the gut microbiome influence how the brain ages? Some studies have found that older adults with greater microbial diversity often perform better on certain measures of cognitive health. Other studies have linked disruptions in the microbiome with changes in memory or mood. But it's important to understand what these findings mean. They show associations, not proof of cause and effect. The brain is incredibly complex. Sleep, exercise, education, social relationships, cardiovascular health, nutrition, genetics, all of these influence cognitive aging. The microbiome is one piece of a much larger puzzle. Still, that piece may be more important than we once believed. Researchers are now exploring whether improving diet and supporting a healthier microbiome could help promote healthy brain aging. What we do know is this: the same lifestyle habits that support a healthier brain also tend to support a healthier gut. Eating a wide variety of plant foods, being physically active, managing stress. These habits consistently appear in studies of healthy aging. Perhaps that's no coincidence. Scientists believe something may happen when the body's normal signaling systems become disrupted by chronic inflammation, poor diet, or other long-term stressors. Supporting the gut isn't about making your brain instantly sharper. It's about creating the conditions for healthier communication throughout the body. And that brings us to another remarkable connection. Your gut doesn't just communicate with your brain. It also helps educate and regulate one of the most powerful defense systems you have, your immune system. Your gut and the immune system. Imagine trying to protect an entire country without knowing who is a friend and who is an enemy. That is the challenge your immune system faces every single day. Every meal you eat and breath you take, surface you touch, introduces your body to countless foreign substances. Some are dangerous, many are completely harmless. Your immune system must constantly decide which ones deserve a response and which ones should simply be ignored. Surprisingly, one of its most important training grounds is your gut. The digestive tract is exposed to an enormous number of microorganisms every day. If your immune system reacted aggressively to all of them, normal digestion would become impossible. Instead, the body has evolved an extraordinary partnership with the gut microbiome. Beneficial microorganisms help train immune cells throughout life. They provide signals that help the immune system develop balanced responses, strong enough to fight genuine threats, calm enough to avoid unnecessary inflammation. This balance becomes increasingly important as we grow older. With age, the immune system gradually changes. Scientists refer to this process as immunosenescence. Some immune responses become weaker, others become less well regulated. As a result, older adults often become more vulnerable to infections. At the same time, low-grade chronic inflammation may become more common. Researchers believe the gut microbiome may influence both of these age-related changes. When the microbial community is healthy and diverse, it produces compounds that help support the intestinal lining and communicate with immune cells. When that balance is disrupted, those signals may also change. Scientists increasingly recognize that the gut is one important piece of this complex system. This may also help explain why lifestyle habits often influence so many aspects of health at once. A nutritious diet doesn't only benefit the heart. Regular exercise doesn't only strengthen muscles. Quality sleep doesn't only improve energy. These same habits may also help support a healthier gut ecosystem, which in turn may contribute to better immune regulation. It's a reminder that the body's systems are deeply interconnected. You cannot fully separate the gut from the immune system, or the immune system from the brain, or the brain from the rest of the body. Healthy aging is rarely the result of one single change. It's the outcome of many systems working together over time. So, if your daily habits help shape the community of microorganisms inside your gut, what kinds of foods encourage that community to thrive? Foods that shape your microbiome. If there were a single superfood capable of transforming your gut overnight, scientists would probably know about it by now, but that's not what the evidence shows. Instead, research points towards something much less exciting and much more powerful. Consistency. Your gut microbiome responds to the overall pattern of your diet, not just one meal, one supplement, one trendy ingredient. One of the most important nutrients for a healthy microbiome is dietary fiber. Unlike sugars and starches, fiber isn't fully digested by your own body. Instead, it becomes food for many beneficial bacteria living in your colon. As these bacteria break down fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids, including one called butyrate. These compounds help nourish the cells lining the intestine, support the intestinal barrier, and contribute to healthy communication with the immune system. Where can you find fiber? Vegetables, fruits, beans, lentils, whole grains. Each type of plant contains different kinds of fiber, and different bacteria prefer different foods. That's why diversity matters. Researchers often encourage people to eat a wide variety of plant foods rather than relying on just a few favorites. Another group of foods receiving considerable scientific attention is fermented foods. Yogurt with live cultures, kefir, fermented vegetables. These foods naturally contain living microorganisms produced during fermentation. Some studies suggest they may increase microbial diversity in certain individuals. The same balanced perspective applies to probiotics. Walk into almost any pharmacy and you'll find shelves filled with probiotic supplements. Different bacterial strains perform different functions. There is no single probiotic that is right for everyone. Experts generally agree that building a healthy dietary pattern is more important than relying on supplements alone. What about foods that may work against the microbiome? Highly processed foods, especially those low in fiber and regularly replacing whole foods, may reduce the variety of nutrients available to beneficial bacteria. Added sugars and excessive alcohol may also have negative effects when consumed in large amounts. Again, your gut is constantly responding. Tomorrow's breakfast matters. Next week's meals matter. The habits you repeat month after month matter even more. Every healthy choice becomes another opportunity to support the remarkable ecosystem living inside you. But knowing what to eat is only part of the picture. Daily routines beyond food also have a powerful influence on your microbiome. 6 daily habits for a healthier gut. By now, you might be wondering, what can I actually do? The encouraging news is that supporting your gut doesn't require a complicated lifestyle. It begins with simple habits, repeated consistently. Let's look at 6 evidence-based practices that can help support a healthier microbiome over time. First, eat more fiber. Most adults consume far less fiber than experts recommend. Adding more vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grains provides nourishment for beneficial gut bacteria. Don't think of fiber as simply helping digestion. Think of it as feeding an entire ecosystem. Second, eat a greater variety of plant foods. Different plants contain different fibers and natural compounds. The more diverse your diet, the more diverse your microbiome has the potential to become. Simple, everyday foods are enough. What matters most is variety over time. Third, include fermented foods if they suit your diet. Foods such as yogurt with live cultures, kefir, may help support microbial diversity. Fourth, stay physically active. Exercise doesn't only strengthen muscles and improve heart health. Research suggests it may also contribute to a healthier gut microbiome. You don't need extreme workouts. A daily walk, cycling, can become valuable parts of a healthy lifestyle. Fifth, prioritize good sleep. Your body follows daily biological rhythms, so do many of the microorganisms living inside you. Poor sleep has been associated with changes in the gut microbiome, as well as inflammation and metabolic health. Finally, use antibiotics wisely. These medications have saved millions of lives. When they're truly needed, they are one of medicine's greatest achievements. But antibiotics cannot distinguish between harmful bacteria and many beneficial ones. The goal isn't to avoid antibiotics when they're necessary. It's simply to avoid using them when they're not. Notice something interesting. Small choices, repeated consistently, often create the biggest changes over time. Conclusion. When scientists first began studying the gut microbiome, few imagined how important it might become. Today, we understand that this hidden ecosystem influences far more than digestion. It interacts with the immune system, communicates with the brain, supports metabolism, and may play an important role in how we experience aging. But perhaps the most encouraging discovery is this. Your microbiome is not fixed. It responds, not to perfection, but to consistency. Every healthy habit, small decisions become signals. Signals that help shape the invisible world inside you. Healthy aging isn't about chasing miracle supplements. It's not about finding one magical food. And it's certainly not about trying to stop time. Aging is a natural part of life. The goal isn't to avoid it. The goal is to give your body the best possible environment to age well. Your gut is only one part of that story. But it's a part we've overlooked for far too long. And the choices you make today may help shape the health you'll enjoy tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy thoughtful, evidence-based conversations about healthy aging, we explore the science of living longer, living stronger, and living better. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and take good care of yourself.